What's the dumbest thing you've ever done because your brain was on autopilot? Comment your answer below. Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe to be the first to know about new videos. Started a new job, got to my old workplace before I realized what it'd done. About an hour ago I sat at a stop sign for 2 minutes waiting for it to turn green. Thank God nobody was behind me. My nephew has one of those big iPads and takes notes with a stylus. If you tap the stylus, it undoes the last writing. Now when he makes a mistake in pencil, he taps the pencil. Couple times a year I'll say love you to a business colleague when ending a phone call. My wife gets a kick out of that. When I was a truck driver I drove 200 miles down the wrong freeway and had to turn around and drive 200 miles back. I never told my dispatcher and he never caught it. Once I was sick, and not thinking too well. A package delivery person rang the doorbell. Me, not thinking, got up from the couch, walked up to the door, and knocked on it. Then I opened the door to a mildly confused delivery man and took the package. It wasn't until I had closed the door, box in hand, that I realized my error. I dumped my soda into my food at a restaurant, saying Merry Christmas when my sister sneezed. It was February. Shaved off an eyebrow. Was shaving my chin etc. and my eyebrow got itchy so I scratched it with the razor. I normally only see my neighbor when I arrive home from walking my dogs, so I'm holding the dogs on leashes as I greet the old guy next door most times and have to tell the dogs to come along. One day it dropped the dogs off inside my place and headed out to bring the bins in after collection. See the neighbor and exchange greetings as per usual. As we finish I turn to the bin and say come on, let's go. I drove to work one morning, promptly forgot, and then took the bus home, leaving my car in the parking lot. Came home with a friend. Started undressing as soon as I closed the door. I used nail polish remover instead of mouthwash after brushing my teeth. It was awful. Locked my vehicle and tossed the keys inside before shutting the door. I just did this today. But my trunk was open so I climbed inside my trunk and tried to push the seats down. I'm also 15 weeks pregnant. My husband sat there and watched me struggle for a minute before he told me the passenger door was still open. We had a good laugh. I printed out an essay and then threw it right into the trash. Drove towards my job when my friend asked me to hang out. Tried opening my front door with my car key unlock button. Recently I was trying to microwave some popcorn and instead of putting the popcorn packet in the microwave I put in the plastic wrap and proceeded to press start. I did not realize what I had done wrong until I looked down at the popcorn packet and thought something's not right here. 2 and 2 got put together before anything nasty or disastrous happened, thankfully. Used my phone flashlight to find my phone. I had made a tea with ginger chunks but found the ginger to be too strong and I wanted them to go. So I grabbed a strainer and proceeded to pour out my tea in the sink with the ginger chunks in the strainer. Took me a second to realize what I've done. I started clapping for myself after my speech in front of an audience because the audience started clapping. Lol. I wanted to refill my cup with more water, so I just poured my already half-filled cup out on the table to make room for more water. Scanned a customer's groceries, removed the dividing bar from my register, began scanning the next customer's groceries. I got up and took my 3 nighttime meds, 2 sleeping pills and a rather sedating neuromed instead of my morning meds. I had an instant where I thought maybe I could go to work, but then wisdom prevailed and I called in sick. Put my glasses in the refrigerator. I figured it out when I realized the orange juice was on my bathroom counter. Tried to zoom in while reading a book. Or just dabbing on the page to keep it from locking. Early morning on my way to work. Turned into my high school and parked in the student parking lot and started to get out of the car. I was 32. Blew on my ice cream to cool it down. Threw my snack in the river when I was skipping stones. I went up the barista at Starbucks and said, "Pack of Marlboro Lights." You guys ever drink from a straw, then zone out and tilt it like you're drinking straight from the cup, and put whatever you're drinking all over yourself? I met my district manager for the first time and was very nervous about it. His name is Craig, my name is not Craig. He introduced himself as Craig and I said, "Hello Craig, I am also Craig." I was wearing my name tag at the time as well. After a fight with a family member, I was so angry that I walked away blindly and missed the large doorway, ramming full speed into the wall. Luckily they found it so funny that it diffused the argument. I was playing a very intense video game match and during the break period my mom opened my door, and since the door was behind me I was just gonna turn around and ask her what she needed. I turned me character in the game around a full 180 and had no idea why I couldn't see my mom. I literally mixed up my in-game movement for real life movement. Went to the washroom at work. Was using the urinal when I suddenly realized that I don't normally see myself in the mirror while peeing. Suddenly realized I was pissing in the sink. Squirted Gorilla Glue up my nose thinking it was nasal spray. Middle of the night, it was dark, the bottles are the same shape and size. It was not pleasant. No, not pleasant at all. When I arrived for my exams I unzipped my coat to see that I still have my night clothes on. I dropped a spoon, then apologized to the spoon for dropping it. I walked outside and saw a dove. I proceed to go hike at. I enter my vehicle thinking about how stupid that was and arrive at my so's house. She enters the vehicle and my mouth moves before my brain does, and out comes hi cat. At the end of work changed out of my work clothes, put them in the laundry and proceeded to put on my next pair of work clothes. My regular clothes were right in front of me the whole time. Trying to put the house phone in the refrigerator after hanging up. Threw my popsicle on my bed and took a bite of my phone. Tried to scroll the page of the book I was reading like it was an iPad. Put the empty Amazon Prime box on the counter and the knife I used to open it in the recycle bin. I do this weekly. I take my pants off as soon as I get home from work. My husband had his friend over and as soon as I walked in I started talking and took my pants off without thinking right in front of the friend. I only realized something was wrong when the friend looked at me and quickly turned away. Once tried to start my car with my phone charger. Strained pasta. On the floor. Boiling hot water landed on my feet. Poured hot coffee on my empty hand because I thought I already got my mug out. I work at a fast food place where most of our food is served in bowls. Often if I'm not paying total attention I'll nearly dump an entire dish into a bag without putting a lid on first. It's hilarious until you have a cheap paper bag full of mac and cheese and bottom breaks out, covering the counter and floor with cheese and noodles. Carrying chocolate milk and my phone to the living room. Throw my phone on the couch. Except it wasn't my phone. Reheated a pizza in the toaster oven upside down. I teach group fitness over a very loud pop star-esque microphone. At the end of the class I have things that I like to say such as congratulations. That's your workout for the day, no one died. You made it. Let's stretch it out, etc. On one particular day when I was especially tired I said congrats, you made it dead. I sat there confused for a minute at what I just said when one of my members said hell yeah, I'm dead. This is why I stopped coming in the first place. Needless to say she saved me from being too embarrassed. I was driving through Yosemite with my GF, her sister. We had stopped to look at some landscape with my GF standing at my right for a few minutes. At some point, my GF and her sister went to the car to rummage through clothes and came back, while I was zoning out on the scenery. For about 35 seconds I had put my hand on my GF's ass, telling her we should head to a hotel early for, things. It was not my girlfriend's ass, it was her sister's. They had swapped hats while putting on hoodies and I didn't notice the difference in my peripheral vision. Luckily they both thought it was hilarious while I turned beet red. GF had been standing behind me watching this whole exchange. teeth, they looked very similar if you weren't looking at their faces or listening to their voices. I was a rather awkward teenager. My mother's favorite story about me is how I got up from the table after eating dinner, walked into a wall, apologized to the wall, and proceeded to take my dish to the sink without breaking stride or even realizing that I had done any of it. Went to the completely wrong class at school once. My mind just stopped working and I went to French instead of PE. I don't even take French, I take Spanish. I work in sales. One day I was speaking with a customer face to face while holding a stapler in my hands. I was kind of fiddling around with the stapler while talking, then for some stupid reason I stuck my finger in the stapler and punctured it with a staple. I tried to hide what I'd just done and tried so hard not to react to it. Poured OJ into my coffee instead of cream. Got up late to work one day, freaked out, got ready and rushed out the door for my 50-minute drive. Boss didn't mind though, as I was 2 days early. It was a Saturday, no wonder my alarm didn't go off. Not me, but my stepdad took his 2 kids to work instead of school because he forgot they were in the car. He didn't realize until he got out of the car to clock into work. Not mine, but my mother once went to buy something, grab her coin purse from the table, pick groceries on the store, went to the line, and just a moment before paying she realized that instead of her coin purse she had a piece of cheese about the same size. Spent like 1 minute trying to force my key into the front door until I realized I was at the wrong floor, put sugar in the ashtray and my cigarette in my coffee, throw the egg and keep the shell. You have been visited by Sad Cat. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to make Sad Cat happy again.